Something unusual is unfolding now in our solar system. It is unlike anything humanity has ever seen. Scientists are questioning the laws governing the universe. I'm not exaggerating by saying this may rewrite physics. An interstellar traveler, Trey Atlas, comes from beyond our cosmic neighborhood. It just triggered a phenomenon defying every natural model we have used. This is strange and disturbing. It pushes the most brilliant minds in astrophysics to disbelief. This keeps researchers up at night. Every normal explanation fails when compared to raw data. We tested dust jets and magnetic anomalies. Particle interference also failed. Nothing adds up. This leaves us with one painful question. No one wants to say it out loud. What exactly did Trey Atlas activate? He activated it when drifting through our system. Why did he do it? Why is this mysterious impact getting stronger? It seems to get stronger as we approach October 29th. That is when it will be closest to the Sun. Astronomers call that its perihelion. To understand how we got here, we must rewind to October 15th. That was 2 weeks before perihelion. NASA redirected the Hubble Space Telescope. It would constantly monitor Atlas as it approached. However, it captured something impossible. It was not a comet tail or debris field. It was a Ryap, a wave-like undulation. This rippling moved through the space around the object. It was not a space-time distortion as Einstein described. It was something stranger. It was a vibration through the electromagnetic field. This field surrounded Trey Atlas. These waves extended millions of kilometers outward. They expanded like ripples on a cosmic pond. Then, Dr. Sarah Chen of Harvard noticed something. She works at the Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. It was hidden in the spectroscopic data. When I spoke to her, I heard a tremor in her voice. It was a mixture of awe and quiet fear. "We are detecting coherent electromagnetic oscillations," she said. "They are emanating from Atlas. The signal is locked on a frequency of 1.42 GHz. This number sent chills down my spine. This frequency is not an accident. It is the hydrogen line. That is the most fundamental frequency in the universe. It is linked to the spin flip of hydrogen atoms. Every civilization studying the stars would know this. They would know it regardless of how alien they are. This is a cosmic constant. It is a foundation for communication in space. Networks have listened for this number for decades. They hoped it would carry an artificial signal. Now, an interstellar object is pulsing with this frequency. It is perfectly coherent and perfectly stable. Natural sources do not behave this way. Nature is messy, chaotic, and random. This is structured and deliberate. Dr. Chen calculated the probabilities. She tried to understand if chance could explain this. The odds are less than 1 in 10 million. Either we are seeing a new physical phenomenon. It challenges all we know about electromagnetic theory. Or something deeper is reaching us through the void. It uses the universal language of hydrogen. It uses hydrogen to announce itself. The hydrogen signal is just the beginning. It is only the start of what makes Trey Atlas shocking. On October 18th, something even stranger occurred. It was just 3 days after Hubble's first discovery. Ham radio operators across the northern hemisphere reported the same thing. There were sudden bursts of interference. These bursts filled multiple frequencies at once. The interference lasted exactly 47 seconds. Then it vanished mysteriously as it appeared. These were not random, isolated glitches worldwide. When mapped, the incidents formed an exact arc. The arc stretched between 35 degrees and 55 degrees north latitude. The pattern pointed directly to Trey Atlas's position. This was its position in the sky at that exact moment. Marcus Rodriguez is a veteran telecom engineer from Colorado. He captured one of these anomalies in high resolution. What I saw in his data was deeply disturbing. It was not random noise or solar interference. It wasn't an ionospheric distortion result. The signal had order and structure. It was as if something intelligent was embedded in it. Rodriguez used Fourier analysis. He broke down the interference into base frequencies. He discovered a repeating number sequence. It was 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. This is the Fibonacci sequence. It is a mathematical pattern defining everything. It defines galaxies, hurricanes, shells, and sunflowers. Finding it encoded in radio noise is more than coincidence. It's synchronized with an interstellar object's trajectory. This borders on intentionality. As a physicist, I seek logical explanations first. I do that before diving into the extraordinary. Let's explore what could cause this without aliens. Could solar activity be responsible? It is unlikely. The sun was quiet. There were no major flares or coronal mass ejections. The Parker Solar Probe confirms normal conditions. Maybe it's comet outgassing. Comets release gas and dust. They do not release structured electromagnetic signals. Those signals carry number patterns. The physics do not hold up. Could it be magnetic interactions? Those are charged particles spiraling through magnetic fields. They could create synchrotron radiation. This might be one of the few remaining traditional explanations. Even that seems fragile under the data. Something about Trey Atlas isn't just different. It is communicating differently. We have passed the point where shrugging this off seems honest. We can't shrug it off as a strange coincidence. Every traditional explanation falls apart. We have considered solar storms and instrument errors. We have also considered exotic but natural plasma physics. Each possibility cracks under pressure. This leaves us with something scientists hate. It is a gap between evidence and explanation. This is an uncomfortable truth. Everyone is losing sleep because of it. That includes grad students and observatory directors. Then, on October 21st, the James Webb Space Telescope delivered results. It was 8 days before perihelion. The results turned unease into outright alarm. Webb's infrared instruments measured thermal emissions. These emissions should not be possible. They defy rules we have always trusted. Atlas does not emit heat evenly. It does not follow Planck's law. It does not show asymmetries from uneven heating. The variation we'd expect on a surface is not there. Atlas shines brighter in specific directions. It is not an accident. One side is not simply warmer. It shines a beam. I spoke with Dr. James Encoded. He did an independent analysis. You can hear the strain in his voice when describing the math. The object's visible hemisphere shows remarkably uniform composition and temperature. Yet Webb registers a directed hotspot. It points almost exactly at Earth. It does not point at the sun or along its flight path. It points directly at us. This is maintained as both bodies continue their orbits. This alignment is not a casual coincidence. It is too precise and too stable. Think about what this means. An object emits according to its temperature and geometry. Standard thermodynamics dictates that. You need a wildly varying surface temperature to create a signal. Or you need a physical focusing mechanism. Mirrors and parabolas do this. Or you need a process we do not yet know. Spectrographic analysis excludes temperature gradients. It also excludes obvious reflectors. We are left with two uncomfortable choices. We can discard laws guiding physics for 150 years, or we can admit that something is intentionally directing energy. Dr. Encoded directly states the latter is the only explanation. The word intentionally carries a weight hard to describe. It makes us stop seeing Trey Atlas as a passive rock. We begin asking agency-level questions. Who chose to shine a light on us and why? This is a shift. We shift from cataloging an anomaly to confronting a motive. The room changes when you frame it this way. careful, skeptical scientists suddenly become planners. They also become screenwriters. The atmosphere shifts. It goes from let's measure to let's prepare. I know the instinct here. Do not jump to conclusions. Await peer review. Demand more data. This discipline has saved science from fools for ages. History also offers a lesson that humbles this caution. In 1967, Jocelyn Bell Burnell and her team found pulsing radio signals. They were so precise that they jokingly called them little green men. For a time, that hypothesis was considered. They were careful and investigated. Eventually, the discovery fit into physics as pulsars. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. The distinction now is crucial. Pulsars did not require overthrowing fundamental laws. They were extreme but explainable astrophysical objects. What we see with Trey Atlas is not expanding known phenomena. It seems to violate several core principles at once. There is coherent hydrogen line emission. There is phase-stable radio interference permeated with math. Now there is directed thermodynamic emission. There are multiple independent contradictions piling up. This is the signature we would expect. We would expect it if observing an engineered system. It is not a natural one. So, yes, normal scientific caution applies. We must verify, re-verify, and challenge every data set. Caution does not mean ignoring the subtext. Thousands of data points point in one direction. If the only hypotheses matching the evidence require agency, the scientific method demands consideration. We must consider them even if it's uncomfortable. This is science at its rawest. We are ready to revise our worldview. The universe hands us something it did not promise to explain. Everything changed again just hours ago. My inbox lit up with urgent messages. They were from colleagues at a facility in Puerto Rico. It is the upgraded Arecibo successor. The team there has been conducting radar sweeps of Trey Atlas. They have done so since its entry into the inner solar system. Their new data does more than question our models. It shatters them. Radar normally works like an echo. You send a pulse, it hits a target. The reflection tells you about distance, speed, and surface texture. The returns from Trey Atlas are not normal reflections. They are altered. Dr. Lisa Park, the lead radio astronomer, explained this to me. It sent a chill down my spine. Imagine shouting into a cave, she said. Instead of hearing your own echo bounce back, you hear a voice replying, saying things you never said. That is what their instruments are registering. The radar echoes have been modulated. It is as if someone takes our outgoing pulse and rewrites it. Then they send it back. We are talking about information embedded in the returning signal. It is information we did not transmit. No one at Arecibo uses the word message publicly. Behind closed doors, that is what they discuss. Cryptographers and signal theorists have joined the analysis team. They are deciphering the patterns hidden in the modulation. They seek repeating sequences, structured intervals, or signatures of intelligent design. The fact that the reflection changes is enough to mark this as historic. It is the first time humanity has seen this. As if that weren't enough, something stranger has happened. It began when Trey Atlas passed Mars on October 3rd. The electromagnetic interference continues. Those strange, rhythmic pulses are not fading. We initially attributed them to cometary activity. They are intensifying. They are expanding in waves. Now they encompass almost 40 million kilometers of space. Dr. Robert Tanaka from the University of Tokyo has modeled this phenomenon. His initial findings are hard to say aloud. He says these are not random EM oscillations. They behave like a carrier wave. Radio stations use such waves to broadcast information. Except this is on a scale dwarfing anything humanity has generated. The energy needed to create such a field is immense. it equals the combined output of a planetary civilization. It would not be a probe or spacecraft. It would be a whole civilization and its infrastructure. The amplitude of this interference grows as we approach perihelion. Perihelion is on October 29th. It is as if something is charging, counting down, and preparing. It is preparing to unleash what is at its core. That word civilization echoes in my head. We observe not just power, it is intention, or at least it seems that way. Then, Dr. Tanaka said something that chilled me more than the data itself. It acts as a trigger, he said. His models show points across the inner solar system emitting weak, synchronized pulses. They emit not just from Trey Atlas. They emit from entirely different coordinates. It is as if its passage past Mars did more than create an anomaly. It activated something already here. Let that sink in. We may not just be studying a visitor. We may have awakened something ancient. It could be a system hidden in our celestial backyard. It could be waiting for a specific signal to activate. If this is true, Trey Atlas is not the message. It is the key. Its hollow structure and calculated deceleration matter. Its perfectly timed path past Mars matters. All this could be part of a mechanism older than humanity. Now, I must be clear. We are working with possibilities, not certainties. Every observation I've described could be natural. There might be physics we do not yet understand. There could be new forms of interaction. Exotic plasma phenomena might explain this. Or we could be missing undiscovered laws of electromagnetism. If even 1% of this data points where it seems to, we are witnessing evidence. It could be evidence that we have never been alone. It could be that the solar system was never fully ours. The universe has a way of humbling us repeatedly. It catches us off guard. It turns the impossible into something beautifully explainable. I am sure it will do that again. After decades of equations and theories, I can tell you this. I have been immersed in understanding reality. Some moments do not feel like coincidence. Several unrelated anomalies start aligning. When that goes against logic, something happens. Every standard explanation falls apart in different parts of physics. When those patterns start mirroring design instead of randomness, something deep inside shifts. Math shifts and probabilities shift. Suddenly, you look into a possibility. It shakes the foundations of what we have always believed. We may not be cosmically alone. That is why these next 8 days feel like standing on the edge of history. On October 29th, Trey Atlas will reach perihelion. It is its closest point to the Sun, about 1.36 astronomical units away. It will be moving at maximum speed. It will endure searing heat and radiation. This will be unlike anything else in its journey. Almost cruelly, it will be hidden behind the Sun. This will be from our perspective. For weeks, our eyes will be blinded. Every telescope will be powerless. They will be flooded with sunlight. We will see nothing. Think about that. Complete denial of service occurs. It happens when this mysterious object reaches its most critical moment. Avi Loeb warned that if Trey Atlas intends to maneuver, it may use the Sun's gravity to slow down and lock itself in our solar system. Perihelion is the perfect time for that. A tiny burst of energy at peak velocity could alter its course. If those strange electromagnetic disturbances are not random, it could mean something else. It could be that something is powering up. It is preparing and building to activate. October 29th could be the day everything changes. What if this is not about movement? What if the electromagnetic patterns are not? What if the directed thermal signatures are not? What if the structured radio interference isn't? What if the modulated radar reflections aren't? They may not be part of a system of motion. Maybe they are something else. What if it is scanning? Maybe Atlas is trying to see and study us. It may be trying to understand our planet and our technology. It may want to understand our electromagnetic imprint as a species. If that is the case, perihelion may not be a maneuver. It could be a conclusion. It may be the end of its observation phase. It could be the moment the observer decides what happens next. When the data comes in, it will tell one of two stories. Trey Atlas will either fall apart like a regular comet. That will be under the sun's heat. It may free us from uncertainty. Or it will not fall apart. If it holds together, we have to face a truth. It will behave as no natural object should. We may have to face the truth. We may have never been alone. The universe might be looking back.